So, opener in Lexington, a little bit of a disappointing result. What would you take away from that performance that you worked on to improve kind of going into it?
I think a lot of the guys are new to the USL Championship. I think it kind of opened our eyes to the level, to the intensity. Also, playing away, I think is very it was an important experience for us because we didn't really go away for preseason. Yeah, I mean it was obviously didn't get the result we wanted, but I think it was kind of like a wake up call. And you saw that against we just played New York Shockers, so yeah.
You mentioned the intensity of the USL kind of getting a wake-up call. What for you personally was different versus MLS&P or other places you played?
Definitely intensity. I think intensity, environment is just completely different. USL Championship, especially, I mean, soccer here in the U.S. As growing up through grassroots and through college and all, I've never played in front of that big of a audience and environment and all these sorts of things. So I think that is the major change compared to MLS and P, college, and everything else.
You mentioned the Shockers game, picked up an assist in that game. What did you take from that game? Obviously, different level of competition, but what did you take from that game?
I think obviously it was nice to get in front of our home crowd and get a feel for the stadium and all, but I think we found out kind of how good we can play as when we're playing fast, if that makes sense. I think we got a sense of how good we can be, and as I said, we used the wake-up call. Now we're getting better, and it's a slow climb now.
And you look ahead to Pittsburgh. Obviously, it can be a really challenging environment to play in.
Yeah.
What are you expecting there as you go around?
I think it's going to be a hard-fought battle. I think it's going to be intense. I think the fans are going to bring it to us. It's their home opener, so it's going to be a good game. I expect us to go out there and fight and battle and pick up a result.
Kind of a disappointing result in the season opener in Lexington. What do you take away from that performance, first competitive fixture of the season?
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, it hit us early, so we can come back and correct our wrongs, as quickly as possible. I think our Open Cup game couldn't have come at a better time. A game at home in front of our fans, at a place that we're trying to create, a fortress, and we took it very seriously. We came back, did a lot of video after our game in Lexington, and tried to fix a few things, and it's just about continuing to build chemistry, get a rhythm with everybody that's out there on the field together, and it was good for us to see the ball hit the back of the net.
You mentioned correcting a few things beyond chemistry kind of coming together. What were some things you were focused on correcting after that game?
Just trying to get more actions on goal. I think Lexington, second half, we were able to move the ball a little bit, but we just want to pick up on that, just using tempo of the ball, the movement off the ball, just to lead to goal-scoring actions. And I think being able to do that this last game in the Open Cup, helped us, create more ideas, help us continue to build relationships with each other on the field, and scoring some goals in front of our fans was really good, and also being able to keep a clean sheet was nice too.
Looking ahead to Pittsburgh, that's always a tough game, especially on the road. What are you expecting from them?
It's probably going to be a really competitive game. They say it's got a little bit of rain in the forecast, so that always helps drive the competitive spirit out. It'll be a little cold, I'm sure, being on the water. So, we're looking forward to going out there and compete against another really good opponent. Their season opener, so we're sure they're going to bring the intensity along with their fans. So, we're looking forward to it. And we know that we have to do better on the road this year than we did last year. So it's up to us to go ahead and put a performance together for 90 minutes, and hopefully we come back with points.
You mentioned trying to perform better on the road. What does that mean in practice? What do you do to try and perform better on the road?
Yeah, I mean, every training session is different. Every game is different. Every opponent brings something unique. So we go out there with an edge always, trying to match the other team's intensity, and continue to play our game, along those lines. So hopefully we've seen that the recipe for us winning games has been scoring early. And every time we do that, we're able to win games. So we can go down there, score a goal early. The game will present a different picture for us. That means that we have to defend to see out a result, or if we have to score another goal. These are things that we've been working on in training. How to see games out, how to chase games if we're down a goal or tied. So different components that a game may bring that we're still working on, and I think that we've seen a lot of improvement from last week going into this week for sure.
Brendan, any further reflection on the Cup game from Tuesday for a couple of days?
Yeah, just very happy that how professional we were about keeping the ball. To have close to 80% of the ball in any game in a real competition is important. It builds confidence. To take 3 goals from it builds confidence. So I think it was a really important night when we were very shorthanded.
Addy, on his full debut, had a pretty good performance. What was your take on that?
He did. Confidence is the word that comes from it. It's his first time playing in front of a home crowd under the lights, and he showed up. So now we know he's another guy that we can count on despite his young age.
Now you're going back out on the road to Pittsburgh. What's your take on their early season performances?
Pittsburgh's always a solid group, and they tighten every week as the season goes on. They're one of the best teams in the league with second balls, and if you're not ready to be fouled all over the place and kicked, then you're going to lose. Quite frankly, you're going to lose because they outduel everyone. They create those situations with a lot of direct play, so we have to be prepared for those two things.
Last year they struggled a little bit with scoring through long stretches of the season, but this year they brought in Augie Williams, who's obviously got a great track record. How do you see him kind of posing challenges for the side?
Augie's one of the top 5 strikers in the league. I don't think anyone would argue that. So we have to be hyper aware of box defending and transition moments, and he can hurt you in a lot of different ways.
Canelo Forbes announced his retirement. They're going to be honoring him before the game on Saturday. Just any thoughts on his career and him as a player?
Phenomenal. He was fun to watch. He's a great guy on top of it from the little bit that I know him. I'm glad not to have to play against him anymore. His service was outstanding. The way he controlled the tempo of the game was outstanding. He was one of the best all time.
You go into this game missing a couple of guys. Kyle Edwards on international duty. Emmanuel Samadia picked up a red card in the last game. How do you manage that kind of slightly shrunk squad size, through a stretch with a couple of games in a short week?
Well, through the course of a season, everyone's going to see it. We're just seeing it early. It puts a lot of responsibility on a couple of young guys, and they stepped up the other night, but they know this is an entirely different animal, and we've spoken quite a bit about that over the last few days. Different environment. It's probably going to be a huge crowd. It's their home opener. There'll be a ton of energy in it. And like I said, the style of play is down your throat.
Other big news in the league that broke this week during the Open Cup game on Tuesday was USL voting to bring in Pro Rel in the future. What's your immediate take on that as a development?
Excitement. Everyone's excited about that. I think players, coaches, owners, everyone I've talked to is genuinely excited about being the first pro league to explore Pro Rel. You don't have it in the big legacy leagues in the NBA, the NFL, NHL, you name them all. You don't have that. So I think it puts a different stress on every single regular season game when you have that implemented. And I think we have a little work to do to get there. But right now our focus is on Pittsburgh. We're very narrowly focused as coaches and players. But I'd be lying if I said everyone wasn't very excited about Pro Rel.